Hello, and welcome to the Daily Try, the daily podcast that supports you on your fertility journey. My name's Lara, and today I'm going to talk to you about how sometimes when you're trying to get pregnant, it can make you feel like your life is on hold. And this episode is really all about giving you a gentle reminder that your life, your identity, and your relationships are still happening now, not just after a positive test. So I don't know if you've ever felt like your life hasn't started until you get pregnant. And if you do feel like that your life will begin once you're pregnant, then this episode is for you. I think trying to conceive can put everything on pause without necessarily you realizing it or actually consciously doing it, but it does. Because you might postpone a holiday because you've got appointments and transfers and things, or you might decide not to change roles because you want to stay where you are so that you get maternity leave, or you get better benefits. Like you might, if you're in the US, you might get better health insurance and you don't want to move because of that. You might even be feeling like no point buying new clothes because I'm going to be pregnant soon anyway, and then they won't fit, and then I'll be a mum, and then it will just be sick on it all the time, and so what's the point in buying nice stuff now? It could be booking something fun because you think, well, I don't know, this might happen, so I won't, in the meantime, I'll just wait. Once it's happened, then I'll do the next thing. And I think imagining the future is even something that can be really difficult because you kind of think, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be pregnant or not pregnant. I don't know when it will happen. So I don't want to make these changes until I know what's going on. And I won't know until I know, which kind of sounds obvious, but often is not obvious. And it can be really difficult because you're just waiting for one result, one test, and it will shape everything else that is going to happen in your life. And I completely understand why you might feel like this. And I think that fertility can make time feel quite different. It kind of feels like each cycle is like a deadline, like especially if you're trying naturally, it's like, okay, we keep going to I'm ovulating, then we have sex a few times, then we wait. And if you're doing IVF, then the deadline is, okay, we've got the embryo transfer. But with all of these things, there's lots of deadlines and things that you need to fit your life around. And it's not always easy to remember that you actually have other things going on apart from trying to get pregnant. And I know when I was going through this, it did become very much all consuming and very much, okay, so what am I going to do now? What can I do to give myself the best outcome? And therefore, what do I give up? Although consciously I wasn't thinking, what do I give up? But I was giving things up because I was making sure that I, did acupuncture to help myself relax. And obviously that costs money. And so therefore I wouldn't catch up with friends as often because I wouldn't necessarily have the money to do that. Or I was trying to eat healthily. So then I didn't go out as much with friends because it was harder to control what I was eating. So I think it can be really hard when you're waiting and this is really a reminder that your life is not waiting in the wings. Your life is not waiting for that positive test result. It's actually happening right now. And you don't know how long it's going to take to get pregnant or if it will happen. And that sounds really horrible saying that, feels to me, but we just don't know what's going to happen. And obviously I was really hoping, and I'm sure you're really hoping, that you do get pregnant, but there is a possibility that it might not happen. And so when these things are so hard to know if what's going to happen, and more importantly when, life is still happening. And you don't want to miss out on things just because you're trying to get pregnant. Because you still have friends. If you've got a partner, you've still got, someone else in your life. You might have other children. You've got family probably around you. You've got work. You've got interests and hobbies. You've got lots of things going on around you. And they don't disappear just because you're trying for a baby. And wanting to have a child and allowing yourself to enjoy life as it is at the moment are not actually opposing. They can exist together. You are allowed. I sometimes feel like when it comes to getting pregnant, you feel like it's this mentality of, I've got to be really good, I've got to be strict, I've got to be all this stuff, because if I'm not, then I won't get pregnant. And sometimes the things that fall by the wayside are the things that you enjoy, or you make you feel good, or are part of you. And so they can exist at the same time. It doesn't have to be one thing or another. So really, today, what I'm saying to you is, try and be your best self today. So wear the outfit, book that swim, book that holiday, book that class, make that dinner reservation, say yes to a plan, start the project. Because it doesn't mean just because you started something or you're doing something differently that you actually care any less about your fertility journey. It just means that you're not letting it take over your entire life. Because when you can find some other things to do, it will help you in terms of relaxing. And there's research that shows that if you're more relaxed when you conceive, then the baby is healthier. But also it makes you feel better, because you're not just something to carry a baby. You are a person, and you deserve to have a great time, whether you're trying to get pregnant or not. It doesn't mean life goes on hold. So I hope today that you will look at things a little bit different and think about what you could do for you, not for your fertility journey, that you will enjoy. And it's sometimes really hard, because it's a hard chapter going through this, and it feels like it takes every part of you, but it doesn't have to. You can leave room for some other things, and you'll feel better for it. I know that when I do things I really love, even though often I'm not trying now, but when it comes to work, seems to be my all-consuming thing, and I think I don't have time to go for that swim, or I don't have time to catch up with friends, or I don't have time to do those things. But once I've done them, I feel so much better. And you can fit it in. You can do it. So have a wonderful day today. Here's a massive hug. By the way, when I do a massive hug, I'm actually putting my arms out around and giving you a massive hug. I know it sounds silly. So have a wonderful Sunday, and I will be back tomorrow to chat to you about triggering moments